Wonderful. They just don't make them like you in England, honey. Wonderful, fabulous. And again, good morning. Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We welcome you. We acknowledge that each of us has a divine appointment, that nothing happens by chance. For our viewing audience, if you've viewed in at this moment, that we welcome you and we acknowledge that we're all here by divine appointment. And as we move into this divine appointment, we acknowledge the principles of successful living and the realization that these are universal dynamic laws and that we are all using them. Some of us are using them very consciously, and others are just kind of going around and using them intermittently and not realizing how powerful we are, and that each and every one of us is a universe within itself. So as we come together this morning, as we acknowledge that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, that we are using it every single moment of our lives, that wherever we are in the world, those energies are responding. And I want you to know that wherever I go in the world, I meet wonderful and fabulous people. It was so interesting. Into my trip, I have a lot of luggage. I was, gone for over 3 weeks. And I got off the train in London, and a couple grabbed, we call it a push cart, they call it a trolley, grabbed the trolley, got my 3 pieces of luggage on it and whatever, and they said, we're going to help you. You just seem like, you're by yourself and that we want to help you. And they were from England, and they said, we got married over the weekend. And I said, oh, that's so fantastic. And he said, and we had so much fun, we're going to go to Las Vegas and do it again. I said, that is even more fantastic. That's fabulous. So they got me on the elevator. I would have had no clue on where to go. Got me on the right elevator, out the door. There's the cab. Got me in the cab. And he said, are you all together? And I said, it looks like we're all together, but we just met. I just met this fabulous couple. That wherever we go, and I gave them angels. I carry the little angels. If you are a volunteer of the week, you get an interfaith angel. I carry those wherever I go, because someone who is especially nice receives that interfaith angel. And I do a wonderful little service for them. I just say, I'm now inducting you into the order of the angels, and I'm placing the angel above your heart where your dreams reside. And wherever I go and someone is loving and wonderful, they're my angel. So as we take this energy with us, life responds. And it is not always 100%. And as you know, that my topic is the Charity Peace Model. It's looking at reconciliation, mediation, and sacrament. The 3 things that the Reverend Dr. Professor Father Ida wrote this book, The Charity Peace Model, the 3 things: mediation, reconciliation, and sacrament. Those are the things that are the most important to me in the book. Because as we mediate one with the other, and we may not agree, but to acknowledge that we can agree to disagree at that moment and not carry that icky, negative energy with us. And say, oh, it's fine. It's not. If we are not clear within our chakras, as Reverend Jeffrey will tell us this Wednesday night, if we're not clear within the chakras, it's going to show up somewhere else. And this is what I love about our way of life. As within, so without. If I am not in joy, which is the most infallible sign of the presence of God, I'm an ego. I am totally an ego. So our life shows up in front of us. And it's an opportunity to grow and to unfold in miraculous ways. So this morning when we're looking at the power of our thought, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in the Science of Mind textbook that he wrote in the 1920s, and it came out in 1926 through 29 during the Great Depression. He wrote this book, this amazing book. And on the power of thought, and this is the 75th anniversary copy. Isn't it beautiful? The power of thought. It has taken humanity thousands of years to learn that it has the power to control its own destiny. From the Bible we have the assurance, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The old Greek philosophers understood something of the meaning of thought. What we expect, said Aristotle, that we find. What we wish, said Demosthenes, that we believe. And Shakespeare is accredited with the saying, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. It is one thing to know a principle, Dr. Holmes states, another to apply it. That is the action word. It's one thing to know it. And how many of us, oh, I know that. How's your life working? How are your relationships? How are your finances? How's your body? How are you feeling? This is not a guilt trip. This is to get our attention. We all feel sensations within this body temple. There are those moments that we have to lay the body down, rest, recreate, regenerate the body. This is not a guilt trip. We all go through cleansings. When someone says, oh, I'm sick, I said, you know, we never use the S word. We never use the S word. And the other S word as well. We never use that word. We're cleansing because we are sending a message to our consciousness. That when we are cleansing and regenerating and recreating, it's so that we can arise again into the new day and feel that energy and tap into that energetic, wonderful universal presence that is within us at all times. But it's one thing to know a principle, it's the other to apply it. And believe me, I've been all over the world. I'm speaking on World Peace. I get standing ovations wherever I go. And I'm not saying that out of an ego. I'm saying it because I engage my audience. English is not my second language. All the professors, the doctors, the MDs, the physicists that are also speaking with me at these wonderful conferences, English is a second language, so they read their talk. And I engage my audience. I'm so grateful that I don't need a translator, that the universal language is English. And I really profoundly acknowledge all of you who are bilingual. And I just didn't get that far in life. So I just say, well, I'm getting by on my English, but I am very grateful because I feel at such a deep level that as we engage each other, the heart responds. And when the heart responds, the consciousness opens. And when the consciousness opens, there is that space of transformation. Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So when I'm, out of all these speaking engagements, I get to Cambridge. I'm at Queen's College. This is a very prestigious college, Queen's College. We can feel the energy of it and the ancientness of it, built in the 1400s and blessed by kings and queens and all of that energy. And the first night that I get there, I am awakened at 5:45 a.m. And it is an interesting experience. It seems that the pipe above, on the floor above me, burst. And it burst at such a level that it opened up the ceiling above me. And I was getting a baptism, not quite of the Holy Spirit, but I was soaked on my blessings on my head. It has a whole new connotation for me now. I want you to know that. Mazel tov. I was soaked. And I jump up. I got my computer and books. And, I always make a room my own. I just put flowers. I do a whole thing with the room. And I got an altar going here. And incense, I set off the fire alarm the day before. But, that's another story. And I run up to the Porter Station. And I'm soaked. And I got my jammies on with the raincoat on. And I said, my room is flooding. It just came up through the ceiling. And the porter looks at me and he goes, oh, I get off in 10 minutes. I said, excuse me? You don't get it. It's in the room. I got computers, I got books, I got everything. And so two guys were there, and he goes, oh, can you go up and see what's going on up there in room 11 in the CC11? And, I'm feeling, very passionate by this time. And so they go up there, and they're waiting in the water, and I grab my computers and put them in a little bag, and they go, oh, it's just too wet in here for us. And they leave. I go, what are you doing? I was so stunned. I couldn't believe it. I went, ran back up. This is not a short distance to the border. And I said, you don't get it. It is up to my, now up to my ankles, the water. He said, would you please stop yelling? I said, you don't get the gravity of the situation. And at that moment, a young man named Marion, I call him the Angel Marion, came in. He said, show me where it is. We ran down there. He said, you go out, you go into your new, they got me new quarters. And he goes, you go over there. We'll get everything. They're getting the suitcases and things out of the closet, and they're packing things and saying, we will handle this. And made it his personal mission to get me out of the room and into the new quarters. And I want you to know that they tried to put me somewhere that looked like Thumbelina's room. I said, no, this is not acceptable to me whatsoever. And I said, I want retribution. And I feel, I'm feeling the gravity of the situation, and I feel that I am responding appropriately. And, it was really fascinating. I had never come up ever in my life in a crisis situation and not had any response. It was like, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal. And here is the Angel Marion. He makes it his personal mission. He comes in, he gets everything, he takes it to the new room. Somebody in the dining hall hears about it. They send breakfast on the tray over now to the new room that has a fireplace, a living room, a little suite in the bedroom, and they think, well, maybe we need to rethink this. So I sent a letter to all of the powers that be. I sent a letter to them stating what an incredible situation it was to be in the face of a crisis and not having response from these employees wearing green t-shirts with little embroidered emblems on them that say Queens College. And the night before, when we were in the dining hall, I was with Dr. Natarajan, we looked up and we saw that on their crest is a boar's head, but has a staff through the head and a sword, and also on the napkins. And I put in my letter how very, very telling that the insignia of Queens College is this boar's head with a sword and a staff through it, and the behavior of the porter and also of the young men that originally were going to help me took on that energy of that insignia up on the wall. I didn't say, I didn't say what I could have said, but I think I said it nicely. And then I just went on to say, everything that happened that was so surreal and so unbelievable that could happen at Queens College. And with the little people and their green t-shirts with the little insignias, over on the side of the t-shirt. And I said, and then the Angel Marion, what am I going to take away from Queens College? I am the president of the International Foundation for World Peace. And I said, I have to claim responsibility for my own experience as well. So what am I going to take away? I'm going to take away the Angel Marion that made it his personal mission to come into my rooms, to get me evacuated into my new quarters. I'm going to take away the young man from the dining hall that brought me breakfast and saw the situation and the gravity of the situation. Not a porter who was going to be off in 10 minutes. Or someone that said, oh, there's too much water here, I got to get out of here. But this person that to me represented a consciousness of love. That is what I'm going to take away. Because we know that thoughts are things and words are molds. And it's one thing to declare a principle, and it's another thing to apply it. How are we going to apply these principles in situations where literally there's a flood on our head? We hear all these situations that there's a flood on our head. How are we going to deal with that? And so when I got in my new quarters and they were, we were kind of rearranging furniture, and I said, I am now going to take a proper shower of my own choosing. And as I'm running back and forth, there was one gal, and she was up really early, and she goes, I wish I could help you carry stuff out, but, I've got this back situation. I said, it's fine, honey. It's fine. Just, let it go. And she goes, well, if it helps, you look radiant. I have just been soaked, I have just been, water is just poured in. I said, I better after the bath I had. This was a baptism of amazing sorts for me. And how are we going to sort out experiences that we feel that it looks like that we're at the effect of it? But everything that we bring in is either a gift, and that we can hold it as that gift, and the blessings in disguise. The upshot is I got a room with stained glass windows and a suite, and this amazing facility. I got flowers from all of the major players at Queen's University. My room was filled with flowers. It was a new room. So I went with that energy as well. And the angel Marian, the person that made it his personal mission to make sure that I was taken care of. To me, our angels come in so many disguises. And that the opportunities that are there, that thoughts are things and words are molds, and what we're putting out there. And I said, I say every Sunday, I accept my good, what do I say? Pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over. Even from the ceiling, oh my God. And I said, I say that every Sunday. I may have to reword it a bit. Because the universe responded in amazing ways. And so, as we are able to find the joy and the laughter and the energy and the humor, and my daughter said, Mother, you and your Lucille Ball situations, all the follies and the fun and the energy, you always make it work. And so, as I wrote this to Queen's College, I didn't realize that other people on Facebook were going to see it. And so, other people do see it. So, Rick wrote to me and said, well, it sounds like quite a baptism. And it really was quite a baptism, because it allowed me to go to the next level in my experience, to see the humor in life and how outrageous it is at times, and also the seriousness when someone doesn't respond in a crisis situation. It's more about them than you, that they need to be blessed. I got a letter from one of the main players and administrators saying, we are doing a major training, and we are training our people now how to handle a crisis situation. And they had to absolutely block off, when they put that red yellow tape across, that was all yellow tape. The whole floor was just flooded and amazing. And one of the old porters, I was telling him the whole story, he goes, oh, you're the one. Oh my goodness, you look so good. Oh my goodness. And he said, well, everything that was built in 1440 is standing and in good condition, and everything that was built in the 70s is falling apart. And he was just so darling about it. So, to me, when we look at our principles and we're in the world, it's one thing to say that we know a principle. It's another thing to apply it. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. And I wouldn't be in any other way of life. Because to me, we can go not even higher yet, but it's absolutely ever-expanding and unlimited. And I love you. I'm so grateful to be home. There's no place like home, and to be with loved ones. So God bless you. And where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you.
We're speaking them? Or are they words that are of real creation? Am I congruent? Do I follow through on my words? If we learn to speak less and listen to the words that we speak, our lives will change immensely, because we will be aligned and attuned with the universal. We put something out into the universal, we pull it back. Put it out, pull it back. No, we put it out and we remember we did, and then it comes back to us. Life unfolds in the instant, in the moment, in the now, and it unfolds with that magic wand of our spoken word. Thank you for hearing these words today. Lots of love, peace, and light. Namaste.
Awoke the following morning, and that everyone who came within his energy field, guess what? He could heal them by looking at them, by sharing his love. So energetically, what we know is that there is an angel at the foot of our bed every night of our lives. And that as we heal ourselves and our own issues, and I believe that we all came in with issues to heal, as we heal those issues, we can be so present for others. And one of the books that I heartily recommend is this wonderful book. It's called This Time I Dance. And her name is Tama Keeves. And she was an attorney. And she decided she didn't want to be an attorney anymore. That she wanted to be a creative writer. So she said she let go of her law practice, and it took a lot of courage because it was, it was a good paying job. But it did not make her heart sing. It did not make her dance. And so she let it go and decided, I want to be a creative writer. And she was living in Colorado, and she noticed the university was calling for people that wanted to teach cooking and to teach creative writing and some other fascinating things that were elective subjects. And she thought, dare I enter into this interview room and want to, teach creative writing? I don't have an education degree. Yes, I have a law degree, but I don't have a credential. And so she said something drew her. She said, I was sort of throwing out the dandelion seeds, knowing that they were going to take root. So she said, I was sitting in there and somebody got up and they were just so eloquent about, all of their wonderful credentials and how they wanted to teach creative writing. And someone, a young woman got up and she was in a Navy uniform and talked about trombones and cymbals and, all of this. And another guy, she said, got up and he was so eloquent and just silver-tongued, and then it was her turn. And she thought, oh my God, what am I doing here? I don't have this, I don't have that. It's that voice, the ego voice, that edges God out. That's what ego means, edging God out. And so it came to her, and she just stood up and said, you know what, I just love to write because it's fun, fun, fun. And she's kind of thinking to herself, what am I saying? I'm not making a very good impression at all because it's fun, fun, fun. I sat down, and she said she mumbled out a few other things. And then it came to where they were to meet with the instructors and those that were hiring. And she thought, on the way home, she said, I was on the verge of tears. I got in a hot bath. I tried to wash the whole experience off. I had never felt so stupid in all my life where, I just couldn't get the words out, but I just knew I wanted to do that. So she went back to the interview, and the interviewing person said, I was told to hire you. She said, excuse me? She goes, I was told to hire you. She said, on what ground? She couldn't talk her out of it now. Why? And she said, you had the spark. Your credentials were the spark that ignites the energy in a classroom. Everyone else had experience, and they had all the wonderful things. You had the spark. You had the energy that was going to ignite a classroom. And she said, as she sat there and thought about it, it wasn't really about the words at all. It was about the feeling. That it was about her aliveness. It was about igniting the spark that was going to energize the universe. She said, my credentials were love. I love to write. It's my passion. And that's what got her in. And years later, and she's been on the New York Times bestsellers list. This Time I Dance is a wonderful, wonderful book because it looks at all the things that we feel that we can't make money at, that we're doing what we don't want to do because we're making money. But she said that she took this bold stand, and in the stand of aliveness, something happened. Like when King David, who was once this little guy facing Goliath with his slingshot, all he had, he was the laughing. But yet Goliath comes up in our own experience, and he became King David. And the Bible states in Psalms that he just absolutely danced down the mountain nude. That energy is when we are ignited with the power. We